Hey, what's up, fellas? How you doing? Man, Antonelli here. Hey, what's going on, guys? How we doing? Matt Antonelli here. Today we're talking about panic swings, emergency swings, how to stop taking them. Before we get into that, today's video is sponsored by Rocket Sports. Rocket makes top quality baseball gear and equipment. We use all of their stuff with our Antonelli baseball teams. They do a great job. Go and check them out. Click and the link in the description box below. It'll bring you over to their site. You'll get 15% off of your next order at Rocket. Okay, so let's talk about panic swings, emergency swings. I'm sure you've all had it before where you're getting ready to hit, you don't feel like you're ready, and then all of a sudden, oh, the ball's on me, and I've just got to try to fight it off. Emergency swing, panic swing, not my A swing, right? More like my C swing, D swing, or maybe even F swing, okay, where I'm totally late, I completely miss it, right? Ball's in the catcher's mitt by the time I'm swinging, I get jammed, I just, flare one off to the opposite field. How do we stop taking those swings? For me, I think, my goal as a hitter, we talk to our hitters about this a lot. My goal as a hitter is a couple things. One, to get a good pitch to hit, okay? We're not going to get into that. We've made other videos on that. Go check out those videos. So one is get a good pitch to hit. Two is get my A swing off. Get my best swing off as consistently as possible. If I can do those two things, if I can get a good pitch to hit and I can consistently get my A swing off, well, then I'm going to have a chance to be a really, really good hitter, okay? Now, how do I get my A swing off? For me, it's being loaded and ready to hit on time, every time, or as consistently as possible, right? If I don't get into a good position to hit, if I'm not loaded and ready to hit when the ball tells me that I need to swing, well, then it's going to be really, really hard to be consistent, okay? So if you think about an elastic band, right? Let's say you take an elastic, you put it around your thumb, and you're going to pull that elastic back to shoot it. If you're shooting it at something, right? Let's just say right now something's going to run across that camera, and I've got to be able to shoot that. Well, if I'm not loaded on time, right? If I haven't pulled this band back and stretched it and loaded it, it doesn't matter. If I'm not ready to go, it doesn't matter how good of a shooter I am, doesn't matter how much I practice shooting, none of that matters if I'm not ready on time. If I'm here and that thing runs across and I haven't pulled back yet, I can't shoot it. And it's the same thing with my swing. It doesn't matter how good my swing is. If I'm not loaded and ready to go and I'm ready to launch on time, I can't hit. I can't be a good hitter. Especially with the time constraints that are involved in baseball. When you're talking about 0.4 of a second or maybe even less to be able to get my swing off, right? I've got to see the ball, recognize the pitch, decide if I'm going to take or not, and then hit the ball. That's a lot of things that have to happen in a short amount of time. And if I'm late with that, I've got zero chance, okay? So you've got to be loaded. You've got to be ready to go on time. Now, we've talked in other videos about the load, okay? But to keep it pretty simple here, and again, go back and watch our other videos in our hitting playlist, but I've got to feel like I am coiled, okay? So we talk about getting our hips coiled, okay? So I want to take this back pocket and I want to get that turned towards the pitcher. So if I'm here, I want to get my lower body loaded and coiled right there, okay? You should see my hips closing, coiling around here. When I'm ready to hit, my hips should not be open. They should be slightly closed that way, okay? I want to think about getting my upper body coiled and ready to hit around here, okay? So as I'm coiling my lower body, I'm coiling my upper body. You see my shoulders, right? If I'm in neutral here and everything's facing the camera, when I get coiled and loaded, you can see my upper body starts to slightly close that way. And then we talk about getting pulled back, right? Using our back, feeling like we talk about a bunch of different things. We talk about setting our hand back to throw a punch, or starting a lawnmower, or pretending someone's behind us and we're just going to kind of elbow them, or doing a bench press. However you want to think about it, my elbow's behind my hands, my elbow and my arm are working back behind me, okay? So I've got to do those things, and I've got to be right at this back point here where I've coiled my hips, I'm getting my upper body coiled around this leg, and I've pulled back, and I've got to be right there when it's time to go, okay? So that my load, boom, can become my swing. Load, 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 boom, swing. It can't be go to load, oh, swing. That's a panic swing. That's an emergency swing, okay? And I'm not going to get a nice deep turn of the barrel, and I'm not going to be able to get my barrel turned up into the ball, and I'm not going to be able to use my body in the right sequence if I can't get completely loaded. Like I said, pulling that elastic band back, or taking a bow. Whatever it is that you've got to load, I've got to get it loaded all the way. I've got to be loaded on time and ready to hit, all right? So you can practice being in control of your load. How can I make sure that I'm in control of my load so I can do it slow and early enough where I can control it and get that load, bang, to become seamlessly, flawlessly right into my swing, right? And so I'm not loading too early, and I'm not loading too late, and I'm surprised by the ball, okay? So work on that, being in control of your body, in control of your weight, in control of your load, okay? Really, really, really important. I see a lot of good swings go to waste because the hitter isn't ready to hit, okay? So the other thing I say is I'd rather be, I actually had a lesson earlier today with a hitter. We were talking about this. I'd rather be a smidge early than to be a smidge late. If I'm a smidge late with everything and I just don't get pulled back and I just don't get coiled, well then I'm basically beat. I've got no chance. And that was the case for this hitter today. Anytime he was just a little bit late, he couldn't do it. Foul the ball off, just mishit a ball, right? When he was on time with his load, boom, beautiful. He allowed his swing to work. When he was a smidge early, he still had a chance, right? And as a hitter, you're not always going to be 100% on time. But I'm fighting for getting myself on time. And if I do a good job of controlling my weight and controlling my load, well, then I can be a little bit early. And if I can control it, well, then I can keep loading until now, boom, now I got to go, right? So if I'm a smidge early, but I control it, I can hold that load and then hit. But if I'm late, there's nothing that can save me, right? So hopefully that makes sense. Get rid of panic swings. Get rid of those emergency swings. Get your A swing off more often by getting loaded, controlling your load, and get loaded on time. Okay, if you can do that, you'll be a much, much, much more consistent hitter. Hopefully that makes sense. Let me know in the comment section below if you have any more questions. Subscribe to the channel, share the video with all your friends, all that good stuff. We'll talk to you later.